Log. This is where an update log will be very useful in identifying when you were operating and what you were doing. If there is a complaint from your neighbors, what power you were using, what mode, what antenna, and if you have a Yagi, what direction you were beaming. If you are careful in keeping your log up to date, it can be a good indication of when you were not operating. Tests. Your license expects you to carry out tests from time to time to check your equipment is in good order and not radiating unwanted signals. There are no set tests for tests, but getting a nearby amateur to listen to your transmissions, tuning away a few kilohertz and listening on harmonic frequencies, that is exactly double the frequency, 3 times the frequency etc., and recording the findings in your log will show you are taking due care. If a general coverage receiver is available when transmitting into a dummy load, will show if interference is coming from the signal from your antenna or leaking out through the mains wiring. It will still be audible if it is a leak, but if not, then it was from your antenna. Ofcom. In difficult cases, it may be necessary to seek assistance of Ofcom. If the interference is domestic radio or television, then the complaint can be made to Ofcom via their website. For TV interference, the BBC also has a complaints section on their website which screens out known broadcast transmitter problems. Ofcom will probably conduct the technical investigation if external interference is expected. The affected neighbour must make the call, but a joint approach to the investigation is likely to result in the best solution. The first action of Ofcom will probably be to ask each of you to keep a log of instances of interference to narrow down the actual cause. The more information you can both give, the better. The amateur station is likely to be inspected. This is a friendly and helpful procedure. You are not expected to be an expert, simply to have followed the advice from your training, and you may be asked to keep a log if there is an interference problem that might be caused by your transmission. If a problem is found, then some advice and help on fixing it will be available. If your station is in order, it is best if Ofcom officers inform the neighbour. Attention can be given to the neighbour's installation if the neighbour requests it. There is often a fee for this service depending on actual circumstances. You may well be asked to help by transmitting, and obviously your cooperation is needed. Safety considerations. Amateur radio is a safe hobby, but there are always a few safety points which must be borne in mind and taken seriously. High voltage. Mains voltages are potentially lethal, whilst amateurs have a habit of taking the lid off every item of equipment they own. This practice should not extend to mains power devices. Higher powered transmitters and their power supplies may also have lethal voltages inside. Warnings on case and in manuals must be heeded. Repairs must be left to qualified individuals. If adjustments or replacements are needed inside equipment, they must be switched off and unplugged. High current supplies also carry a risk even at low voltages. A short circuit can result in current high enough to overheat wires and start a fire or cause burns. Many batteries, especially rechargeable batteries, can give surprisingly high currents which will cause wires to become red hot. Ring and metallic wrist watches should be removed, and when dealing with sources of high current, mains, plugs, earths and fuses. The mains earth is a safety earth designed to protect you if a fault develops which would otherwise result in exposed metalwork becoming live. If an earth lead is fitted, it must not be removed. It is there for your safety. This protection also relies on the correct fuse being fitted according to the manufacturer's instructions so that the fuse will blow before anything else becomes too hot. It is not acceptable just to fit a 13 amp fuse in every plug. A thin mains flex will overheat at well below 13 amps. The fuse contains a thin wire designed to melt, breaking the circuit when passing an excessive current. The reason for its blowing needs to be investigated. since something may have become faulty and present a risk. At foundation license level, it is assumed it is inappropriate to wire mains plugs and work inside mains powered items. However, it is still advisable to be able to recognize mains plugs in a mains plug is safe. The correct wiring of a mains plug is in this description. Figure 11.2, the symbol for a fuse. And read this box here. Table 11.1, points to remember when wiring a mains plug. An RCBO is a residual current circuit breaker with overload protection. The overload protection part is an electromagnetic fuse. It cuts the circuit if the current exceeds the set limit. It is better than a wire fuse and is resettable. The residual current part detects when the current in the live and neutral lines are not identical, normally a 30 milliamp difference. If somebody has touched the live wire, for example, then some current passes to earth via them back through the neutral. The rapid removal of the power may well save their life. A fuse or overcurrent device alone cannot do that. The use of an RCBO is examinable. How it works is not that is for later. If the live and neutral are touched at the same time, then neither an RCBO nor fuse will prevent an electric shock, which may well be fatal. Master off switch. Your shack is likely to have several electrical devices plugged in to the main supply, and you may also have a workbench. If there is a need to quickly turn off everything, perhaps as a result of an accident, then there needs to be a single switch or button which will cut the power. The only exception might be a ceiling light. The master switch controlling the radio, accessories and any workstation needs to be clearly marked, and everybody in the house should know where it is. Only once the power is off is it safe to help the casualty. RF earths and PME. The need for RF earth for EMC reasons was covered in that chapter. However, there are safety implications in fitting an RF earth. PME protective multiple practice gives its full name, is a common method of electricity supply to the home which affects the manner in which devices are connected to the mains safety earth. It may be necessary for your RF earth and the house safety earth to be cross-bonded, that is, securely connected together with a substantial cable. Only a qualified electrician can make that decision and either do or inspect the work. The local authority building control department must also be informed. This is not something you can do yourself. There are important safety implications that you may not be aware of, as well as legal requirements. The reason for this are outside the scope of the syllabus, but a leaflet available on the RSGB.